Recording. We are live. Welcome back to the Rhino Podcast. On this episode, we will be talking about the Mass Poly ballot questions. And only the Mass Poly ballot questions.
Yeah.
And not the other thing. Let me just say this. You've been watching this. If you watch this show, you've been watching us allude to this, to the brewing scandal from time to time. It's not going to affect the election. We were talking about it before we go on. And it's like, do we go on with it with just the tweet that I quote tweeted that's out there till it's more confirmed, maybe by major media and probably or some kind of legitimate media. Yeah. I think we're going to wait on that to comment on it. We can say this: it's not going to affect the election.
No, I think this is pretty. I think that Maura Healey is going to win.
Yeah,
I think that we could say anything and media could pick up on it. I mean, her campaign is so
media.
She's just going to win because
this isn't going to bring anybody down. A couple people on Twitter, major news outlets, maybe national Fox News has to pick it up, which is very possible. They can start poking around and digging at this. When they do, we'll talk about it. We've known about this for a while, and legitimate reporters have been asking questions of everybody for a while. I'll go back
and they know. That's the thing.
And they know. They know, but they're protecting.
People come into my DMs and say this, and so.
No, so they're protecting her, and this would be a much different story if we had an electable person as a Republican. 100%. This would be a game changer, but it's not. But it will keep.
I've noticed that her campaign has been really subdued.
Yeah, she's running as a Republican. Yeah. She's running as a pro-choice Republican.
Yeah,
that's it. That's basically it.
So progressive, and she's basically running Charlie Baker's old campaign.
Yeah, which is what. Look here, I tweeted about this earlier this week. So this tells you one thing, a couple things. Okay, so one, she's running a Joe Biden, I'm not a kooky leftist, don't defund the police from 2020. Now here's the problem with that. Joe Biden got into office and he swung super left and very progressive. He's forgiving student loans.
Yeah, she's super progressive and she's running this moderate campaign. I think Dems have found this area where they think that makes them win. And for Joe Biden's case, within the Electoral College, he had a slight win on the states that matter, like Arizona, Wisconsin, and Georgia. Mm-hmm. So, because we could have lost Pennsylvania and still been fine. But yeah,
but he's not governing. He's not governing as that. So let that be a lesson. No.
He's governing as a progressive, listening to the progressive base.
And his approval ratings are 37%.
I think they're 39, 40 right now. I think the reason why his approval rating is going up currently is because Dems are just coming home before midterms. So sure. You're seeing that bump.
But it's going to be.
I think that's based on polarization in general.
It's going to be a wipeout. Big time. And this is because of progressivism. So let's say this. The scandal that is starting now to bubble over will hurt her administration majorly, big time. Because now that it's out, so she has a choice, right, to get those approval ratings, which are automatically going to be hurt real bad, up above 50%. Govern as a moderate. That's it.
Right.
Well, one, do that anyway, and you'll have good approval ratings. Go further to the left and go to your base that's going to excuse your behavior. Well, you're going to have a real problem because the progressivism doesn't work. It doesn't function. So the state will start to crumble. Bad things will start to happen, and your approval rating, and you're not going to get reelected.
Yeah.
Full stop. So that's it. And we'll address the details of it, and I have a lot to say about this matter. And I am livid that we have an incompetent party leadership that can't attack this the way it needs to be attacked.
They're really holding back a lot, right? It's interesting
Well,
how they.
but you can't, like, how are you gonna? You gotta. It has to break first. It has to break major first, and then you can, or you can break it. Here's the thing: if we had the power that we should have as a political party in the state, we could have broken this weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
if I remember right, with Cal Cunningham in North Carolina, it broke, and then North Carolina GOP pounced. Republicans pounced, Jeff.
that'll be the story, but be a different kind of pouncing going on in the Democratic side. Shame, 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 scandal person. So anyway, okay, on to this week's episode topics. The mass poly ballot questions. Now, there was literally a communist who put up a video a few weeks ago on a week or two ago, question 1, and I'm like, and I quote tweeted it. These are not the ones that I'm that proud of, where I just say astoundingly stupid. And apparently, it got a bunch of likes and the responses from the communist. And I'm not like exaggerating here. In his bio, it said communist. So question 1 is initiated by the legislature that has to be voted on by the people of Massachusetts, the voting citizens of Massachusetts, to change the Massachusetts Constitution so that essentially we have a graduated income tax. Here in Mass, we have a little over 5% flat tax on everybody. That would change, where it would be just the millionaires would pay a higher rate. I don't know what the higher rate is. I don't care. It doesn't matter. This is now the 7th time they've tried this in about the past 20 years, and each time it's failed. And it's usually failed because it doesn't pass constitutional muster. But this is actually going to change the Constitution to allow it to take place.
Oh, so this is actually the first time that I've ever had a canvasser come to where I live to give me literature on this ballot question. Okay. Ever, even for like candidates and all of that, any referendum question that we've ever had. This is the first time I've ever had someone come to my place of residence and give me literature.
What is Mr. Kaitlin registered as?
Republican.
Okay, so clearly
we're both registered Republicans.
Clearly, the people pushing this have bad information in their voter database because
I know. I was
so shocked. Your door not.
I was so shocked that they came to where we are and they knew our names and they wanted to talk to us. I was not mean about it. It was like a young kid and like a mid-20s girl. Like, I was not going to be rude about it, but I was just like, yeah, give me your literature. Thanks. Bye.
You can be firm if you want to, if you want to avoid it, sure. But if you can be firm and be like, no.
If it were Seth Moulton canvassers, I would have slammed the door in their face.
He probably has better data to not even bother knocking on your door.
He's like, kid, that Kaitlin bitch, not again.
So
why did she call my office and scream?
He probably has your name.
I do call my congressman expecting to speak to somebody, and usually it's some staffer, which I think on some level, like if I ask for a return call back from my congressman, I better get the fucking phone call back. Come on, man.
Has it ever happened?
What? Received a phone call from Seth Moulton?
Anybody?
No. I have received. I left a message for Seth Moulton one time. I did receive a phone call back from his staffer. I didn't receive it from him.
That's something.
I left a phone call one time for Liz Warren. Nothing.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
These people, like, I think these like deep blue senators and congressmen just think that they don't have to do this anymore. I mean, that's what your role is. Your role is to represent us. Even though I didn't vote for you, you still represent the state in which I live. I expect a phone call back.
Well, they can't get anything done in Washington. So as a Democrat, if you're a Democratic legislator.
I mean, Liz Warren literally can't because the Consumer Bureau she found it keeps on getting whacked by the Supreme Court in the court.
So anyway, ballot question 1 would raise taxes on millionaires. and it's structured so that will say it only goes for like transportation and school and education and transportation, infrastructure, education, maybe something else. But its bottom line, it's just a big giveaway to unions. We have a two
Yeah.
to $3 billion surplus this year.
Right.
Surplus.
That's one of the things
We
that
don't
people
need.
don't realize. We have such a huge surplus, and the legislative bodies are literally arguing about not giving it back to us, which is actually breaking the law.
They're slow playing this to wait till Charlie Baker's out of office, and I would get a decent rebate, right? If they actually follow the law.
Yeah. I mean, they literally are not following the law. Isn't that nuts?
When I heard about this,
the law on the book. I mean, so I went to a fundraiser with Charlie Baker in August, and he's talking about it, and he's straight up saying, he's like, they're slow walking this until I'm gone. Like, that's basically what he said.
Yeah.
He's like, we want to give it back to the people. This is what the law says. Yeah.
And yeah, I'm never going to see that money.
Yeah,
I'm never going to see that money. I'm owed that money, but I'm never going to see that money.
Charlie Baker, the huge rhino, wants to give us our money back, right?
Yeah. Well, anyway, the communist who made the video about ballot question 1 saying like,
I just found it.
Yeah, so he comes out and he says, "Oh, well, a lot of people say that it will chase millionaires out of the state. That won't happen. There's a book about it." And I'm like,
"What book?
Like,
Das Kapital?"
Yeah. We live in a highly mobile society. Okay, if you have the means to leave Massachusetts and save yourself.
Millionaires have the means. Yeah. I just want to make sure that's very clear. So when you see people leaving like California and New York for places like that are red states like Florida, I mean, like, again, Florida, was it California, New York lost congressional seats because their population went down. Yeah, people will move because of your policy. Like, don't be an idiot about this.
This is important too, because a lot of small businesses, I think, file. I want to say as individuals, like there's, I'm not a tax lawyer or an accountant, but this does affect small businesses. But mainly, it affects people who, yes, are wealthy and successful, and we want to keep that capital in Massachusetts. And we
want to keep business here. Why are you even arguing this? The fact that you're arguing this means that it will drive people away. Give me a break.
Well, right. The fact that they're even saying it won't happen means they know it will happen.
Right.
And 1, we don't need the money. 2, there's no we here. The government's just going to take it. It's our money. Like this is not. In their minds, it's fascinating to me. In their minds, this is a punitive measure. This has nothing to do with funding education. Our education budget goes up every single year. Billions of dollars put in education.
I don't trust the Massachusetts state government, since they can't give us our refunds back that we should be getting because there's surplus, in order to collect this money and appropriate it where it needs to go.
This is the lazy way out. I'll say a few years ago, kudos to gubernatorial candidate Jeff Deal on this one. He led an initiative. This is the kind of thing that the folks who align there can kind of get done. They get a ballot question. The legislature wanted to index the gasoline tax to inflation. So if inflation went up, the gas tax would also go up. So like it's kind of like a compounding scenario. Your money's worth less, so we have to raise the tax on gasoline. So the one thing that drives inflation would be price of fuel. So we would go up even higher. Jeff led a good effort to have that repealed, and it was successful at the ballot box. It helped that Governor Baker got behind it too, because he knew it would help drive his.
Wait a minute. It helped. Wait a minute. Jeff Deal led the effort, and Charlie Baker got behind it, and we won.
Yeah,
imagine what could happen if everybody all the Republicans in the state of Massachusetts came together instead of factionary inter-party wars, imagine what we could do, Jeff.
Yeah, well, here's good point. Good point. The problem is if you hear them tell the story, the gas tax helped Baker get elected. No, they had very little money. Baker put the gas tax repeal over the edge, not the other way around. So, but anyway, this is a punitive measure, right? It's more about like people. They just hear it fair share. Millionaires need to pay their fair share.
They do.
They do. They pay what we pay. They pay what everybody pays.
Taxes. You also have to understand a lot of these rich people, and we've gone through this, they own stock in the companies that they have. And so they don't pay income taxes in the same way like a wage worker does. So like we can go through how insane this is, like when Elon Musk pays the largest personal income tax. Isn't he like he's paid the highest income tax?
I mean, he's the richest guy in the world. I don't know if he pays the highest income tax.
Well, no, he I think he dropped like a ton of Tesla stock and liquefied it. And he had to pay the largest tax. Oh,
capital gains? Yeah, he might have had to pay the capital gains. Possibly. Yeah. But for an income tax, this is the thing about a flat tax, which we have here, a little over 5%. It's perfectly fair. It's percent. It's math. If you make $500,000 a year and you pay, 10%, you're paying $50K in taxes. And if you make $50,000 a year and you pay 10%, you're paying $5K in taxes. Like it's literally perfectly fair. So don't talk to me about fair share when you can't even do math. Like that's the point of why they apply it as a percentage. And it's this class warfare thing. It's really, I mean, the least intelligent people are behind this.
Right. Well, they're not even intelligent. Like, first of all, these like champagne communists over in, or was it champagne socialists over in Somerville? I mean, they don't understand that when it comes to like, when a rich, how can I say this? And then they'll probably be like, oh my God, trickle down economics. When rich people don't spend money and they have to pay taxes, it constricts the economy. Mm-hmm. And so
rich people create
we're not even saying, we're not even saying you need to give them tax breaks. We're saying, yeah, we don't need to raise taxes on them. Maybe I spend money in a efficient way that's productive.
Yeah, I predict this will fail. It just everybody sort of sees through it. And
they're very mobilized though. I was shocked. They came to my where I live and knew my name, knew Mr. Kaitlin's name, and which was shocking. It was shocking that they came to see us.
This could be the gateway to, like, barring anything else, of turning us more into California and New York, where people really start to go, yeah, I'm out. And maybe they go to New Hampshire, maybe they go to Florida, wherever, Texas. But
again, these red states are gaining they're gaining they're gaining congressional seats and such.
Yep, they should.
So, okay. I mean, like,
I don't think it'll pass, but it's close. It's going to be close. And if it does pass, it will be the single most thing, rather than, whoever becomes governor or whoever becomes DA or attorney general or mayor. Like, those things can sort of be turned around in an administration. You can clean up the streets. You can balance the budget. This, though, once this gets in place, like, it's not going to be able to be repealed. They're not going to repeal it. We can't even get we have a $3 billion surplus, and we're supposed to get back $2 billion of it, or whatever it is. We're not even getting that. Do you think they're going to repeal graduated income tax? Absolutely not. It'll only get lower. They'll start it at $1 million, then it'll drop to $750,000 or $500,000, and then right then and there, people are like, "Well, fuck this," and they'll do what California does. I think, was it 13% income tax for high wage earners in California?
Maybe.
It's insane. And that's
I mean, again, I don't want to be like California, so I don't know why Massachusetts wants to use them as a model. Like the entire, so
it's progressives,
okay.
man. Progressives do not understand this. They don't understand
My parents used to live in California, and they moved from LA to Kentucky when they got pregnant with me because California is not a great place to raise kids.
Yeah.
In a lot of areas. So,
all right. So vote no on question 1. If you have half a brain. Question 2, dentist. Dental.
Yeah, dental insurance.
So dental insurance.
I got pulled on this question.
Okay, go for it.
I got pulled on this question by like a reputable pollster, actually. It's I don't even really, and it had to do with free, like essentially they were trying to poke at the free market aspect of it. And then talk about how I guess premiums would go up if we let government get involved into I don't really know much about this question. I do know that I'm typically against government getting more into insurance.
Yeah. What it says is 83 cents out of every dollar collected on premiums is spent on patients' dental work. Oh, so it's like it's a mandate. So only 17%. But
is that it? Is that it? Is that it? Question?
That's kind of what it'll do. Yeah, it'll make sure that it'll force the insurance companies to have to pay into this ratio to make sure. It's going to create a lot more paperwork for dentists which is going to drive up the cost. You're going to have to administrate this. You're going to have to create higher staff and pay, which they'll wind up passing on to the consumer, and pay a higher rate to make sure that only 17 cents is put towards, I guess, administrative, like front office work, which is bonkers, man. Like maybe it's 10 at some offices, maybe it's 20 at another. But if you like your dentist, you should be able to. This shouldn't. Dentists are like eye doctors and like LASIK. It's a bit more free. A lot of people pay out of pocket for that. But
actually, I have to pay out of pocket for the eye doctor because the ACA is screwing my eye care.
Yeah, the out of pocket. Well, I could do that too for an eye doctor, but I'm against this question. I don't want more restrictions that are dictating what percentage, because what if it changes to 84, 80, 86%, they jack it up, and then they start, this is another gateway for the government to start mandating rules as to how dentists perform their duties. And right now it's relatively free market where you can just go to a good dentist, pay what you pay. The insurance is relatively looser than healthcare insurance, meaning they just reimburse the expense. So I'm not going down that road of more mandates. Question 3. Oh, you anything else on dentists? You're going to vote no or yes?
Vote no.
Vote no. No. All right.
I usually vote no a lot of these questions.
Well, this is an interesting one. Question 3, alcohol sales at chain stores. Question 3 would allow some chain stores to start selling beer and wine in more locations. Individual and cities and towns would maintain the authority to limit licenses in their jurisdictions, but the new system for imposing fines would have a disproportionate effect on retailers who sell alcohol alongside other goods.
What's your opinion on this?
My very small libertarian streak would consider voting yes on this, meaning.
So I'm voting yes on this one.
Yeah, meaning if you want to buy a 6-pack of beer at the 7-Eleven, you should be carded and do that. You shouldn't have to go to the package stores. Now, this is, I went to middle school and high school in New York.
Yeah, I think it's really freaking annoying to have to go to a liquor store to get beer when I want to go to Stop and Shop.
If you go, well, this is the thing. If you go to the supermarket in New York and New Jersey, You go to Stop and Shop, there's a beer section. It's right next to the milk. You know what I mean?
In Kentucky, there's a beer well, you can't sell on Sundays, but there's a beer section at Kroger. So like when I moved here, I was like, this is so weird.
We're behind that. So the liquor stores obviously don't want this to happen because it'll cut into their business. It would just
sorry, Cappies. Yeah. I don't care.
I mean, so yeah, I
mean, so I'm voting yes.
Yeah, I'm voting yes. All right, question 4. Well, I will say this. Kudos to Jim Lyons and the Mass GOP for getting question 4 on the ballot.
This is the illegal immigrants with driver's license. Okay, you know what? Wait.
Jim, the floor is yours.
I give you credit. You know that I'm not your biggest fan, Mass GOP. I will give you credit for getting this on the ballot. Good job, Wendy. Good job. And I'm not being sarcastic, even though it sounds like I'm being sarcastic. It sounds like I'm being sarcastic because I'm trying to hide my face because I got a chemical peel done this week and my face looks a little weird. But at the same time, thank you. Good job. No, for real.
I will say that as well. Good job on this.
Good job.
To recap for those who may not know, question 4 will repeal a law passed by the legislature that allows illegal immigrants the ability to get driver's licenses. It's a bad idea for a whole host of reasons, and including election integrity that Governor Baker has reiterated, but more along the lines, it's the principle of it. Somebody's come here illegally. They've broken the law. They shouldn't be granted some kind of special dispensation. It's going to encourage more illegal immigration to Massachusetts because when you hear about it in another country, you hear that, oh, you go to Massachusetts and they'll give you your papers. And then you'll enable a bit of work. And now when there was some articles about this in the Globe that I read, you know who's backing this?
No.
SEIU. And it dawned on me. Yep. It dawned on me like, oh, this is a way that they can more easily get union membership, collect dues, and get stronger union support.
Unions are very parasitic on their. Okay. No. They know. Okay. Unions know that memberships are going down since Janus, and they will literally do anything to get their memberships up. So what they're going to do is try to support illegal immigration and all of this stuff now, which is funny because Bernie Sanders, for everybody saying that he's pro open borders and all of this other stuff, he's actually not pro illegal immigration. Did you know this?
I did know this. Yeah.
He's
pretty
not,
restrictionist.
He thinks it's he's pretty restrictionist because that protects, quote unquote, protects workers, right? So now you see unions promoting these type of things because it gives them temporary social security numbers if they have to have a driver's license. And it puts all of their information in a place where they can get employed. So it doesn't surprise me that SEIU would promote this.
Yeah. So they got it on there.
And that's also full of dirt bags. So every union is corrupt. They're all corrupt. You can't convince me otherwise. They're so corrupt.
And then
they're all corrupt.
So the problem we have here is though that kudos to Mass GOP staff for getting this on the ballot. But we're broke, we have no money, and we can't advertise about it. So there's a decent chance this thing will stay on the books. And it should definitely be repealed. Interesting thing, I thought they got the ballot question on, so you'd want to vote yes for this ballot question, but actually it's about the law. So if the people want the law, they'll vote yes. If they don't want the law, if they want to repeal the law, you vote no. So it actually does make it a little bit more simple. So unless you want to buy beer in the supermarket, you vote no on all 4 questions. and it makes it pretty simple. All right, I guess that's it. That's all 4 ballot questions.
Yeah.
I saw the stream might have dropped a couple times here, but we're back up and running. But I got it recording, and we'll go on the YouTube. What is your prediction for all 4 ballot questions?
I think the first one will be close because I think Massachusetts is so weird about all of that. They'll vote to screw millionaires.
You think okay? You think it's going to pass? All right.
I think the dental insurance one is too strange.
Yeah, it's too it's very wonky. People tend to their eyes gloss over and they go, no.
Yeah, I can't wait to open up that ballot and see that question is going to be like super weird. The third one was about what was the third one again? I'm sorry.
Beer and chain.
Oh, that's right, beer. That one will pass.
Yep.
Sorry. I mean, like, I just think that one's going to pass. So it's not something I have in my brain. I know that I'm voting yes on the beer stuff. I think the illegal immigration one will stay in the books. The driver's licenses.
All right. I'm going to be a little bit more optimistic than you.
So you think it won't?
I'm going to say that I think question 1 fails. That I don't think the millionaire's tax goes through. And maybe this is just wishful thinking, but I don't care. It's been tried many, many times before. And as blue as Massachusetts is, there is still a strong small c conservative leaning in this, meaning like they don't like to rock the boat. They kind of know that the left wing is pretty kooky and they just like their old school D mentality. But
that's true.
But so I think they kind of see through that bullshit, and there's a very good chance question 1 fails. So I'm gonna say yes, it'll fail. Question 2, yeah, that'll fail too. Question 3 will pass. This one's the tough one. Question 4. If people know about it, well, this will be the interesting thing. If question 4 fails, meaning more people vote no, and that law is repealed from the books, that is a sign to Maura Healey that people split their vote. Okay? There's no real splitting of the vote in this election, but that should be, if that question fails, that'll be a real telltale sign that there was not a lot of enthusiasm to get her elected. And don't go too far progressive, and to squash these types of things. Now, here's the thing: we are 2 weeks out of this election. I can't tell if she is going to pull a Joe Biden, run as a moderate, and then govern as progressive. Is she smart enough to know that progressivism fails, or is she a true believer to give lip service to it? Or is she a true believer to not know that it doesn't work and believes the rhetoric? Or is she smart enough to know to give it lip service to some quarters, run as a moderate, govern as a moderate, maybe do some progressive things around the edges that doesn't really affect anything economically or anything like that? I don't know what it'll be. Could be a Joe Biden. Could be a Joe Manchin, right? You know, it's going to be tough to tell but I'll know that she has a brain in her head when she doesn't do progressive things, especially that touch economics and public safety. If she does, then it'll just it'll make it easier to elect a Republican in 4 years. That's all there is to it. So,
I actually completely agree with everything that you say. I think that we're going to have 3 houses, or we're going to have a state house that's going to be Dem. We're going to have the Gov house, like it's going to be Dem. And it's just going to be, I think that
I lived here for.
You're looking for her to be politically smart, and she kind of sort of is.
Deval Patrick was. He didn't govern far left. He was a typical, center left Hillary Clinton-esque. She kind of knew you don't raise taxes that much. You talk about the social issues, and then you sort of don't do much to rock the boat. You keep business moving. You grease the wheels. You definitely don't raise taxes. You don't do a Dukakis. Like you learn from Dukakis. Like, and this is the thing. Like, if the mindset is more like Gavin Newsom, where it's just like, nah, fuck it, I'm gonna say whatever I want to say, and I'm gonna do whatever I want to do, and
well, I don't think Morgan Healy can do a Gavin Newsom. I think my Gavin Newsom gets away with what he's doing is because he's propping himself up for a presidential run. I don't think that Healy is going to be in that boat.
She won't get away with it. We're not California.
I mean, he gets away with it because he's kind of a pretty boy within the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
And as much as I hate to say, their party is not that progressive, and they will throw Maura Healey under the boat for Gavin Newsom or Pete Buttigieg type of thing. Do you see what I'm saying?
No, you lost me there. Dems
are still pretty pro male leadership.
Interesting.
I think they are.
Okay.
I mean, look the way. How can I say this? I think that Kamala Harris is terrible. Okay, I think she's a terrible vice president. I think she's comically bad.
I was fooled by her.
I think the Biden administration puts her out in front because she's a woman and she's comical.
Yeah.
And she's comically bad. Let's put it that way. I think they do that on purpose because she's a woman. And so that's where I find the sexism.
Interesting.
But with Gavin Newsom and like Pete Buttigieg and all these, like, I guess Dem front runners, they still love their little white boy saviors.
Oh, that's an interesting take.
I
have to think about that.
Dems, I think that look at who they prop up. Like Gavin Newsom, Beto O'Rourke, Beto, however you pronounce dude's fucking name.
Yep.
Pete Buttigieg. Mayor Pete can't do anything wrong. But like they'll throw a woman under the bus.
It would have been, barring the sex scandal, it would have been Andrew Cuomo. You're right. I mean, unless they really, unless they cross that line, if they cross.
How do you pronounce her last name? Is it Hochul?
Kathy Hochul. Yeah, Kathy
Hochul.
Yeah.
But look at how she's pulling. She's not pulling that strongly.
Zeldin might beat her in New York. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that would be a major upset. I mean, but essentially Zeldin is pulling down Ballot. I mean, if he's polling as well he should, we might see a lot of flips in New York.
No, I think it's going to be a red tsunami. We'll talk about that as we get closer to it.
I think it is now. It was interesting because remember post Labor Day, all of the polls were like, we're not seeing evidence of red wave. In the last week, it's just been like poll after poll.
Oh yeah, they're really in trouble.
And it's just like, hell yeah.
And they're not going to have enough time to course correct because
they can't message their way out of this. I mean, Biden is stuck on the MAGA Republicans. They're going, this is like an argument straight out of like literally like 2006. They're going to steal your Social Security. It's like, no, you all are going to pay our Social Security to people who didn't even work.
Well, let me tell you something right now. We're absolutely gonna cut Social Security. No.
Or maybe make it financially solvent. I don't know.
Maybe solvent. Anyway, no, I think there's gonna be a big red wave bordering on tsunami. It should be a big signal to.
Well, it sucks for them, right? Okay, so like this map for Republicans is a hard map for us, right? 2024 is an easy map for us because Democrats have way more incumbents up in 2024 than we do. So
so if we get 52, 53, we're in really good shape.
If we get 52, 53, we could have 55, 56 next time, even get closer. I don't want to say full 60, like filibuster proof, but it is something to worry about for them.
Yeah. No, I
will say this. They want Trump to run again.
Oh yeah, they do.
They want Trump to run again because remember, he's the bull in the china shop. He's the folly.
Well, he's the one thing that could. I mean, they beat him before, so that's
Right.
why wouldn't you want the guy who you beat before? All right, I had one more thing to say, but I forgot about it. Anyway, we are going to see you next week, folks. We've got. Let me look at the calendar here. We've got 2 weeks, a little more than 2 weeks until the election. I am going to be spending it election night. Probably. If Sean Dooley's having an election night event, I'll do that because I hope Sean wins his state senate race. Definitely, pulling for Anthony Amore. He will be earning my vote. I will be voting no, yes, no on ballot questions 1, 2, 3, and 4. I will not be.
And remember that the angry white Republicans, according to the person who you quote tweeted, says that you're going to vote no on everything. So
no, I'm not going to vote no on everything.
Yeah.
just where it makes sense to vote no. Yeah, well, the my former podcast host lost his brain. Anyway, there's I debate.
Well, that's what happens when you kind of grow a ponytail in your late 40s.
Yeah.
Sorry, I went there.
Yeah, it'll be a bittersweet night, election night, because I think nationally it's going to go very well, but locally, hopefully there'll be some bright spots like with Sean. But it's pretty much a shoe-in for the governor to be Maura Healey. But the scandal, I'm telling you, it's gonna keep brewing, and it'll go while she's governor-elect. And I
think more people are going to start talking about it.
They have to. We
just want media to start talking about it before we talk about it.
They have to. It's so irresponsible. You don't bang people that work for you.
Stop. It's allegedly.
But you don't. Like, it's
you allegedly don't do that. You're right.
But what world are we living? It's 2022. Like the Me Too movement, and that is, I'll say one thing.
Dems, okay, I hate saying about this, but Dems don't care about the Me Too movement. Look at the governor of New Mexico. Do you remember that?
No, I don't.
You don't know about that?
No.
So she grabbed her staffer's crotch and had to pay him money over this because he sued her. Yeah.
You don't do that.
Well, yeah, you don't do that.
You don't do that, but you don't. But this is the thing. Since in the past 10 years, we have known, like, as a society, we have moved away from even like workplace romances, like of people that work in different departments or on the same level. But the number one thing you don't do in a position of authority is sleep with people who are or hit on people even who could arguably be your subordinate. You just don't do that. Like, what kind of judgment is that? That's bonkers, man. That is bonkers. And allegedly, all this stuff is going to happen.
We're laughing.
But I mean, when this gets broken by maybe Fox News, maybe the Herald, if they actually, you just got to go up and you got next press conference, next outing, go up, stick the microphone in her face and go, Governor, can you confirm or deny, blah, blah, blah. That's what you got to say. That's what we've been waiting for. It's the names are out there on the internet now. I mean, I don't know how accurate they are. That's why we can't really talk about it in depth, and we can't say what we really want to say. But it's going to be huge. This is huge. This is judgment. Goes down a whole list of things: character, judgment, and just competence of that you would make such a boneheaded move like this. All right. Anyway, we'll wrap it up here, folks. We'll maybe by next week we'll be able to get into this fully. But don't forget, many episodes ago, we alluded to this, and this is brewing.
It multiple times.
Yeah. So if you've been paying attention,
for a long time, and everybody has known for a long time, allegedly. Everybody's allegedly known this for a long time.
And it goes to the power of the press's ability to protect Democrats, which sucks. I'm jealous of it. Part of me on some level, Kaitlin, is jealous that they get this. They're so bad at governing. They're so bad at campaigning. But they can keep the little secrets, their little missteps, and they get swept away. And nobody cares. Like Ayanna Pressley's husband getting paid $50,000 from Uber. Just fart in the wind. Disappears. All right. Have a great week, everybody. We will talk to you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.